So here's a little story. It's a story of two seemingly different brothers that share a common job. Cornelius was a rather astute and precocious child. He was a hard worker, very analytical, and type A. He had to be right, so he spent hours and hours in his room researching and learning. He got a perfect score on his SAT and went on to get an MBA in finance and statistics. Cornelius started an investment company. He started a mutual fund where he focused on discovering, analyzing, and investing in large cap US companies. He spent hours digging through their financials and would crisscross the country meeting with the executives of the companies he was thinking about investing in. He had detailed spreadsheets and forecasts of the companies, their competitors, and the economy. He spent every waking minute buying companies he thought would do well and selling companies he owned if he thought they wouldn't do well any longer. Every year, his mutual fund performance would be compared to other mutual funds and would be compared to a similar index. In his case, the index would be other large cap US stocks. His fund would be scrutinized, and he worked more and more hours to try to do better than all the other mutual funds. He had a whole staff of other analysts that did the same thing he did. They would look at 100 companies and maybe select one or two to invest in. You could say Cornelius was quite active in his approach, always analyzing and studying, buying and selling. Okay, his brother, Bodai, was not quite as intense. Bodai was more interested in surfing. You get extra credit if you can tell me the 90s movie with a surfer named Bodai. Okay, sure. He liked to make money, but he also liked to hang 10. Bodai saw the success of his brother, so he asked Cornelius for a job. "You must be joking," Cornelius retorted. "I would never hire you. You couldn't even get your GED." Rejected and dejected, Bodai decided to start his own mutual fund. He saw how hard his brother worked and how long hours he put in. Bodai thought, man, if I work like him, dude, I'll never catch another wave in my life. That's just bogus. So he decided his mutual fund would be a little different. Instead of doing all that research, analysis, and flying all over the country trying to find the best companies, he would skip all of that. Instead, he went in on January 2nd. January 1st, markets closed because it's New Year's. Okay, so he went in on January 2nd and simply looked at what an index with large US companies had in it. All indexes will list what investments are in the index. He then bought those companies for his mutual fund. Then the next January 2nd, he would compare what he owned versus the index. Maybe the index replaced some of their investments with others. No problem. Bodai would sell those and buy the new investments. It took him about 20 minutes every January 2nd. The rest of the year, he surfed. Now, I don't want to call Bodai lazy. You might call him passive. He wasn't trying to do all kinds of research and buy and sell throughout the year, month, or even day. He just stuck with whatever investments were part of the index. Now, Cornelius was an active manager. But no, really, his style of investing is called active management. For pretty obvious reasons. He was very active. He was trying to beat the market, or the index. Bodai wasn't trying to beat the market. He was trying to be the market. His approach was very passive. His style of investing is called passive management. It's a bit like saying jumbo shrimp, though. It's passive, but can you really call it management? He didn't do much at all. I mean, there was very little management involved, but whatever. That's why his style of investing is called passive management. It's also referred to as, wait for it, index investing. You get it? Index investing. He's investing in an index. So these are very different styles. Why is this important to know about them then? It can get pretty expensive to hire all those analysts and travel all over the country. Active investment managers are usually more expensive as a result. Compare that to the passive index investing approach. Very little overhead, very few expenses. Well, yes, but won't Cornelius get a much better return because he's doing all that research and analysis? Well, you'd think so, and you would hope so. And that's definitely the promise of using an active manager. But sadly, that's not always the case.